Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
It's Monday night. The Sports Hounds are live from the Real Talk Studios, A2D Radio, A2D Live, streaming on Instagram, Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Can also be streamed for you podcast junkies, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play. We're absolutely everywhere. If you can't find A2D Radio, you're not interested in finding A2D Radio, and you're missing out. As I said, we are live here from the Real Talk Studios. This is the Sports Hounds. I'm Rob Brinkman. Kyle Meagher's off tonight. Brad Ryer's in the house. As always, we have Frank Vesby on the ones and twos. As always, Gibson Mayer, our official sponsor for the Sports Hounds. Certified public accountants. There are certified public accountants. Make them yours. 301 Oxford Valley Road in Yardley, 215-369-3300. Like I said, there are certified public accountants. Make them yours. Tough loss last night. First off, business. Thank you for everyone that came out to support the A2D family at Pin Setters. It was a great time. We had a great turnout. We had a great time watching the game, even though we weren't that thrilled with the outcome. We're getting the good, bad, the ugly of the Eagles versus Atlanta. A lot of bad and a lot of ugly. Not that much good, if you're asking me. But let's get to our poll question, brought to you by our specialized physical therapist, Doc Vidal. 3 convenient locations, no appointment necessary. The Eagles are the favorites in the NFC. Agree or disagree? Brad, I'm a strong disagree here. I love the Eagles. I thought they had a loaded team, but this team has way more glaring holes than I thought after last night. They are not the favorites in the NFC like I suspected before week 1. Dallas is really good. The Rams are really good. There's just better teams. Seattle's really good. They've impressed me.
Let's give Atlanta some credit for winning the game last night. They're good.
I'm not gonna do that. They're an average football team.
Minnesota's
I saw an average football team.
Minnesota's
last night,
a pretty
and
good
the Eagles. Minnesota is a pretty good team, but they lost to Green Bay. Green Bay is a very good team. 2-0.
Yes, they are, and their defense is much improved.
Their offensive line is much improved.
The Bears are a good team too.
Bears are 1-1 though, so I would put those 2-0 teams ahead of them. But the Eagles are nowhere near the favorites in the NFC after 2 games. This team's got a lot of work to do. I still believe in this football team. I still think they're going to get to where they need to go, but they have a lot to work on. Because I saw last night, I know you want to give Atlanta a lot of credit. I saw an average football team in Atlanta that was just begging to be beat at home in prime time, and the Eagles just couldn't take advantage. They just couldn't do it. They started slow. They couldn't run the ball. Jim Schwartz with the most boneheaded defensive play I've seen in recent Eagles memory. Just, I don't understand what you're doing. I'm going to drop a link in the Facebook chat of the play, and I'm going to explain to everyone what I saw, why I'm frustrated, and why it was just a schematically flawed play on 4th and 3 against one of the best receivers in the league in Julio Jones. Just a frustrating loss all around. And, Brad, now you got Detroit coming in, an unbeaten Detroit team coming into the link. And I know the fam's going to be in the chat laughing, oh, what do you mean you're scared of Detroit, Rob? You have to win this football game on Sunday. You've put your back up against the wall because after the Lions, you're going to Lambeau on a short week for Thursday Night Football. If I had to bet on that right now, that's a stone loss.
It's going to be that's a tough play. I mean, that's a big ask to win in Lambeau Field, especially when the Packers are playing so well this year. It looks like their defense has really improved.
So, I mean, and then not to mention the injury. Now, I hate using referees. Like, was it a block in the back on the screenplay? Maybe, maybe not. But if the refs didn't call it a penalty, then it's not a penalty. Me and Brad never sit here and complain about refs. We've been on the air together for, 4 years, 5 years together?
Absolutely.
At different, and anytime someone calls us or chimes in the chat complaining about refs,
It is what it is.
We tell them to take a hike.
It is.
That's
what
why
it
I have
is.
no respect for
And
the
by
Saints.
the way, you didn't lose the game because of that play. Okay, the Eagles were unable to execute their 2-minute offense after they got the ball back and score a touchdown and win the game. Okay, so I mean,
well, they got all the way down there. Nelson Aguilar dropped the ball, which I don't know how he did that, but
he did. Listen, you
and
know what?
Zach Ertz didn't run a deep enough
Rob,
route.
Rob, I'm going to go back to the New Orleans game last year in the playoffs. The ball goes right through Alshon Jeffrey's hands.
Yes.
These are things that just keep seeming to happen to the Eagles. The game in Tennessee last year, 4th and 10, and then you give up a first down.
The Carolina game last year.
That's another game where they did the same thing. I mean, listen, for whatever reason, this team seems to not come up big in the most important parts of the game. I mean,
especially in the beginning parts of seasons.
And I'll tell you what, let's be honest. The Bears would have won the game had Cody Parkey not missed the field goal.
Yeah, they let the
Bears. They let the Bears march right down the field. The kicker choked, so the Eagles were able to get to the next round. For whatever reason, it seems like this team in the fourth quarter seems to not rise to the occasion, and it's not 1 or 2 games anymore. This seems to be a habit, and unless when they're playing a good team. Now, I'm not talking about the bad teams like Washington or the Giants where they come back and they win the games and they make the plays they got to make. I'm talking about teams that are on their level, that are all good teams, good competitive teams, where you're basically looking at teams that are on the same playing field as the Eagles as far as talent and ability. Okay? The Eagles, for whatever reason, don't bring their best in the fourth quarter, and this is something that's got to stop. If you guys are looking for them to make a return trip to the Super Bowl, they've got to play their best football in the fourth quarter. Their top players have to play like they're like the best players on the team. They can't get small.
Agree more.
They can't get small in the big spot.
4th and 3 is a schematically flawed play, and Jim Schwartz he actually called a decent game. And I know I went on Facebook cussing up a storm saying he should be fired.
You were upset because they lost, and that's fine. You're allowed to be.
He shouldn't be fired. He's a decent coach, even though the way he coaches in some spots really frustrates me. But he shouldn't be fired. He's an okay coach. I'm really frustrated they lost that game because Atlanta didn't play that great, and they were just begging to get beat, and the Eagles just couldn't take advantage.
Well, the Eagles.
I decided to take it out on Jim Schwartz. If you want to call me a crumb for flip-flopping, if you want to call me a crumb for wearing my emotions on the sleeve, if you want to criticize me for being the atypical Philadelphia sports fan, that's fine. Go ahead. Call me an idiot. Call me a bonehead. I've been called way worse, and this won't be the first time.
Rob, let's be
or the
honest,
last time.
Okay? As far as Jim Schwartz is concerned, okay, he made 2 real good calls when the Falcons had the ball on their own 2-yard line, and he did that all-out blitz on Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan threw the interception. He had Julio Jones was open on that play, but because of the pass rush, he threw the ball short. The Eagles got the interception, and they ended up getting a touchdown on that play.
Again, I want to go to the Zendejo one.
But also the other one where the Falcons marched right down the field, got to the 6-yard line, and then they blitzed Matt Ryan again, and he made that bonehead pass.
That was when Darby made the interception.
Right.
Wasn't midfield. It was in.
No, it was in the end zone when he made the first one was at midfield. The second one was in the end zone when the Falcons
that was
drove
a
down
genius
the field.
blitz because that was a disguised safety blitz with Zendejo coming right up the gut against an interior line that was injured of Atlanta. That was a great call.
Yeah, Matt Ryan
it was disguised. Nothing about the final play on 4th and 3 was disguised.
He made a hurried bad decision. I think what Jim Schwartz wanted to do on that last play was try to blitz and make Matt Ryan make a hurried
I get
decision.
it, but Jim Schwartz put the play on the Jumbotron. You have 7 in the box, which is fine. You're blitzing. You have man coverage. You have no deep safety. So that's screaming at Matt Ryan that it's man coverage across the board. And it's 4th and 3. All 4 of the corners that are manned up are playing 6 yards off.
And
all Matt Ryan had to do was check off, dump it down to Julio Jones. He slid his protection to Julio's side. The left tackle just pulls out and destroys the cornerback, and Julio Jones is off to the races. It was the most basic play call ever, and a good quarterback like Matt Ryan, especially when he got burnt by it twice already, is going to pick that apart.
Listen, if you want to make the argument that Jim
It was a horrendous. It was a horrendous.
If you want to make the argument,
it was horrendous.
If you want to make the argument that he went to the well one too many times with that blitz, you
it's
have
not
the right.
that he blitzed. I don't care that he blitzed. I've been screaming at him to blitz for however long he's been the defensive coordinator, 3 years.
He called. Listen, and I don't know if it was Atlanta's
He had
coach
an inexcusable
or Matt Ryan, but he called a perfect play for that particular defensive scheme. A quick screen.
You're talking about the Falcons.
Yes.
Well, that's all Matt Ryan. He audibled.
Yeah, but that was
when he looked at the jumbotron and looked at it's a 7-man box. There's off man.
Matt Ryan.
If you're gonna blitz, you gotta shove. You gotta shove it. You gotta shove him.
But he's
shove him. You gotta push him. You gotta do something at the line.
But he's a smart quarterback. He's been in the league for how many years? He's a savvy
former
veteran.
MVP.
Yeah, he knows. He sees a coverage like that. The first thing he's going to do is he's going to throw the ball to either Freeman or Julio.
It's
one
off
of those
man.
three.
It's the best receiver in the league, Julio Jones.
Yeah, exactly. But Matt Ryan really isn't thinking about it.
Horrendous.
He's
horrendous
not thinking, but he's not thinking
play
about a touchdown on that play. He's thinking about just getting the first down.
Okay?
Right. It worked
now,
out.
If you're playing up on the line and not giving him that 6-yard cushion on 4th and 3, which is just absolutely ridiculous, and that's all coaching, that's all scheme.
Yeah,
and
but then he could have
inexcusable.
But then Julio could have gone by him, and Matt Ryan could have thrown the ball over. Thrown the ball over the Eagles' defense.
I'd be cooler with that because it's schematically sound. You know what I'm saying? If you get beat deep because you're playing press man because you're blitzing, that's fine. That's the risk you take against a good player like Julio. But when you're blitzing and playing off and he takes a screen pass 60 yards of the half, I have a huge problem with that. That's inexcusable. That's a bad play call. That's poor coaching. That's poor defense. That's poor game management by Jim Schwartz. And I'm not letting him off the hook with it.
But Jim Schwartz did call a pretty good game for the most part.
And he had an inexcusable brain fart that, in my opinion, cost them the football game.
Well, you can't say it cost them the game. As I said,
that's my opinion. You can disagree with it. That's my opinion.
Okay, I appreciate that. What I would say to you is this, though. The Eagles got the ball back. They had plenty of time to get down there and score. Aguilar dropped the pass. I mean, was it Aguilar's fault they lost the game? No, they lost because
I just said, in my opinion, it's Jim Schwartz's fault.
But I'm just telling you, it's more than one reason why they lost that game. It really is. I mean,
I understand, but to that point, okay, Nelson Aguilar dropped the ball, probably would have scored a touchdown. That's fine. Valid point. Zach Ertz ran a bad route on 4th and whatever it was. I think it was 8.
Yeah, he didn't get to the first down.
He didn't go past the 6. That's not the first time Zach Ertz has done that, too, as our buddy Michael Kromiak pointed out to me via text after the game. Not the first time Zach Ertz has been brain dead.
That was a brain
sense.
fart. So just to blame Jim Schwartz, is he a culprit? Yeah, but I mean it's more than just him.
But Brad, all you have to do is keep them out of the end zone.
No, I understand
and you're
that.
going to overtime.
But also Carson Wentz not showing up in the first half again. I mean,
that's concern. His line didn't do him any favors last night, and they got to really figure something out at left guard because Isaac Seumalo was terrible last night. It's time to warm up the kid Andre Dillard, the first-round pick, and let him get his feet wet at guard because Isaac Seumalo was terrible last night. He let up 6 hurries, he committed 3 penalties, and he was just bad all the way around.
And he got exposed last night.
And, we have all these DBs rumored to be on the trade block. Minkah Fitzpatrick on the hapless Dolphins, and Jalen Ramsey now apparently on the trade block for the Jaguars.
I don't think that Jalen Ramsey is going to get traded, quite honestly. Fitzpatrick is
whatever.
another
There's
story.
rumors about it, is what I'm saying.
I understand
that.
It
makes sense because he nearly strangled his head coach on the sideline yesterday.
Yeah, and the coach really didn't have a lot to say about it. He kind of denied.
Well, like Doug Marrone. I mean,
yeah, no, I know.
We'll get to around the NFL.
Doug Marrone. Yeah.
If I were a Jaguars fan, I would want his head on a platter.
Yeah, he's not
that
my favorite coach either.
That 2-point conversion that they ran after Minshew got him all the way down the field. Like, I get it. You be aggressive. You go for 2. You try and steal the game.
I just don't like
there.
the call.
You run it up the middle. You don't put Gardner Minshew on the edge. You don't let him make a play at all.
No.
He's been killing it for you.
No,
we'll get to that later.
I didn't like the call.
But, and we're gonna get to the good, the bad, the official good, the bad, and ugly as Rob Brinkman saw it in a second. Let's get to the fam. Let's get to some comments. Once again, thanks for everyone who came to Pin Setters last night. We're doing more stuff like that as we get into football season, get into that colder weather. So A2D Radio's got you covered. We're getting out with the people, and it's going to be a great time every
Listen,
time
we
do.
heard from David Rosca, the Rams 2-0 from yesterday.
Rams 2-0, putting
David,
it on the Saints.
I would tell you this: the Rams yesterday were extremely impressive. You gotta like what you saw. You gotta like what you saw out of Todd Gurley. The knee looks pretty healthy. He was basically running people over. I mean, he was definitely on top of his game yesterday. The Rams are just gonna have to when it comes to Gurley, they're just gonna have to manage him and not overuse him.
How about the West though, huh? Looks really
I'll
strong.
I'll
San
tell you what,
Francisco was cooking.
Did you see the play by Cooper Kupp? The catch. Did you see how he was running guys over? I mean, at
very
the speed.
good player.
This is a guy last year that
2-0 teams in that division.
he had didn't he tear his ACL last year?
Yeah.
I mean, this guy looks like he's
Doesn't
all
look
the way
like it.
back. And I'll tell you what, he was not there when they played the Patriots. Gurley was not healthy when
He
they
was
played
not.
the Patriots.
You are correct.
I mean, if you don't think that didn't kill the Rams, and to be fair, these guys weren't healthy when they played the Saints either.
No.
I mean, I know the Saint fans are all mad about the pass interference, and I get that, but those guys weren't there, and the Rams still found a way to win, and they won yesterday. Now, I know the Saints got screwed again on a referee's call.
We don't talk about refs here. I don't want to hear it, Saints.
This is 3 times in a row. These referees really have to get their acts together.
They aren't very good.
No,
I know I don't like to harp on referees, but
No.
the NFL.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're relying on all this replay too much.
I don't know.
I don't know what they're doing.
I don't
But
know.
another reason that last night's Eagles loss really pissed me off is you had a chance to really bury the NFC South, to making it to the point where it's pretty much guaranteed a one bid division when it comes to the playoffs.
You're right about that.
You have Drew Brees out
6 weeks.
6 weeks. I mean, all due respect to Teddy Bridgewater,
He's not Drew Brees.
he's not Drew Brees.
No.
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton looks like he looks washed up. He looks like he's washed up.
He does.
He's you know what he's
I don't
been
know
injured.
what's worse with Cam Newton, his outfits after the game or his play during
He's
the
been
during
injured.
the actual
He's been
game.
injured so many times. You just wonder if he's really got anything left in the tank.
I mean, Tampa Bay gave you the blueprint Thursday night on how to beat Carolina. You sell out to beat McCaffrey, and Newton's not good enough to beat you with his arm.
No, not
He
anymore.
was super inaccurate, and I mean, all due respect to Tampa's victory on the road against Carolina, I don't see them as contenders for a playoff spot.
No,
So
I don't
the
think
Eagles
the defense is good
the Eagles
enough.
had a chance to put Atlanta out of it with 2-0
in the rearview mirror.
at 0-2, and they fell short. It was very frustrating, very disappointing.
It was a
And
winnable.
It
was a
angered
winnable
me
game.
It angered me very much.
It was
I
a
mean, that
winnable
play
game,
call
but
was
when you look at the beginning of the
it's
season,
just a horrible play
Wait,
call.
Rob, when
I
you look
just
at the
hated
beginning
it.
of the season
hated
at
it.
the schedule, this was a game I thought that the Eagles were going to lose. I thought they would have a problem going into Atlanta on prime time and winning a game down there. They put themselves in a position where they could have won the game, but again, for whatever reason, it just seems like in the fourth quarter against good teams, the Eagles don't make the plays necessary to win a football game.
I can't disagree with that.
And that's
I can't disagree with that.
That has been a habit. Yes, they are able to do it when they play bad teams, but against good teams, for whatever reason,
But like
they don't do
I'm
it.
listening to
Even the Cowboy game.
I'm listening
last
to
year.
the A2D family. You know, they're looking down the schedule. They're looking for possible losses. We got a lot of possible losses on this schedule. This schedule is just shaping up to be extremely, extremely difficult. You have to play at Minnesota. You have to play at Green Bay. You got to play Dallas twice. You got to play Seattle, who
New
looks like
England.
a really good team. You got to play the Patriots. The NFC East games. I know the Redskins and the Giants
Buffalo
aren't
is
very good.
Buffalo is going to be no bargain this year.
At Buffalo, sneaky
That's
game.
not- that's not
Chicago
gonna be an easy
at
game.
home, not an easy game.
Not
Number
at
one
all.
defense in the whole league.
Not at all.
I mean,
Listen.
I mean, you're looking for losses. And
They're
you just want
going
to
to-
chalk up this
they're-
game. Oh, I had this loss as a game as a loss
these
anyway. That's
games-
not acceptable.
These games, when they're in the fourth quarter, they're going to have to come up with some big plays. You know, you can't make big plays
I
for
mean,
second and third quarter
I
and
know
then not show up in the
I
fourth
know
quarter.
Carson looked bad in the first half, and he got hit in the ribs, and he had to go in tent for concussion protocol. But he was lights out when he needed to be in the second half.
He was. He was.
In both
but
games.
He was. But again, he's got to be good for four quarters.
If I hear Kyle or anybody else on Facebook say we should have kept Foles when Foles is on IR,
No,
like,
no,
give me a break.
Stop.
If you can't see what Carson Wentz
Stop.
brings to the
Carson
table,
Wentz
and
is
that he's a franchise quarterback, I cannot help you. I can't help
Carson Wentz is a very good quarterback. Okay,
All right,
but
let me
again, he's got to be consistent in these games. You can't
He needs to play 4 quarters.
Yeah, against good football teams, he can't come out and stink up the joint for a half. He's got to play. He's got to play. Listen, you can have 1 or 2 bad series, but you can't go a whole half against a team like Atlanta and be that bad. It makes it just makes it too hard. It makes it too hard to win.
They played a horrible first half, and they were still right there. They were one bonehead defensive
They
play
were
call
it was 10-6, right?
away from I think it was 17-6 at one point.
No, but it was 10-6 at halftime.
Yes, I believe you're
And
right.
then
and
then
it
they
was
put
17-6.
Yeah, they put a touch. Then they put that quick touch.
Then the Jabron comes out and fumbles the opening kickoff of the second half.
Right, and then they got
Totally.
the quick
This is
touchdown.
why, Doug, can we just take the ball? Take the ball, receive the ball, take the ball first, and let Carson get you up 7-0. Let Carson get you up 3-0. Go up fast. This is an offensive team. Would you agree with that? The strength of the Philadelphia Eagles is its offense.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you want that on the field first?
Problem was though, remember they were kind of playing with a they were playing with a shorthanded yesterday without Deshaun, and they were playing without Jeffrey.
Well,
I mean
injuries. A lot of these injuries happened even before the game even started.
I understand.
Terrible
I'm
luck.
just saying it's tough to play when you're missing 2 primetime guys. It just is. Your best possession receiver gets hurt, can't play. Your home run hitter gets hurt and can't play. I mean that's a lot to lose. And you still gave him a good fight. You almost won the game.
Backup tight end Dallas Goedert, who everyone has high hopes for. He missed the majority of the game as well.
And did McDermott get hurt?
Who's McDermott?
Well, who's the left tackle? The backup left tackle.
Peters?
No, not Peters. The replacement.
Dillard?
Dillard. Okay, yeah. Somebody got.
I didn't
one of
see
their
that.
One of their offensive linemen got hurt.
Kelsey missed snaps.
Somebody
came back in.
Oh, okay. All right, then it was
Center.
Kelsey then. But they missed some snaps. I mean, they still had a chance to win the game. But I mean, these mistakes in the fourth quarter, this is just like last year, and these mistakes have to stop. I mean, if you guys want to get to the Super Bowl, you want to represent the NFC, you can't keep making these kind of mistakes.
I hear you.
And
you're right.
That's the thing. You're not playing the Redskins this week, where you can get away with waking up in the second half and blowing them out of the gym.
All right.
And against the Cowboys, if you do this against the Cowboys, you're going to lose to them too.
They're favored by 20 this week at home against Dolphins.
They'll cover.
It's ridiculous. Probably.
They'll cover. I mean, it's.
All right, let me get to these Facebook comments. They're flying in. Rob Lutman, I am very concerned with this team and how we will do for the rest of the season. Am I wrong for feeling this way? No, you're not wrong. There was a lot of red flags last night. I have confidence in Doug and I have confidence in Carson that they're going to get to where they need to be. So I'm not jumping off the bridge yet, even though I'm furious with Jim Schwartz and his awful 4th down and 3 call. Not there yet. Not abandoning ship. I still think this team has the goods to win a championship.
So all you
Eileen Pompey, Eagles 10-6 this season. I mean, it's not a bad call. Chrome checks in. Yo, fellas, tough loss, but dust off and get ready for Detroit next week. Yeah, Detroit's not going to be a pushover next week. They had up 10 points to the Chargers at home last week. Their defense looks good. Matt Patricia looks like he knows what he's doing. You better, especially if we have all these injuries to our offense, like.
Yeah, but they got a tie against the Cardinals.
Well, I mean, it's still the Lions.
But it's the Cardinals.
I understand.
There's no excuse.
Hey, the
not
Cardinals.
To beat
The Cardinals. Kyler Murray looks like a player. They gave the Ravens at home all they could handle.
Yes, they did. But you and I both agreed last week that the Ravens were not going to slaughter the Cardinals because it just, for whatever reason, when you win a game by more than 21 points, the trends are, and it's a proven fact that
you're never as good as bad as your last game.
You're not gonna play that way
Unless
again 2 weeks in a row.
Unless you're the Dolphins.
Well, yeah, or the or the Patriots. So.
Eileen has the Eagles beating the Lions 28-10. I hope so. That would ease a lot of tension.
I think that's pretty accurate.
Eagles open as 7-point favorites. I think that's too much. Early lean is on Detroit +7.
I'll be honest with you. I just don't see the Lions being able to put up a consistent offensive attack against the Eagles. I just don't see it. And I see the Eagles systematically picking the Lions apart.
I hope you're right. I hope they have the offensive
I mean,
personnel to pick them apart.
Remember one thing about the Lions, they were a terrific home team. They always have been. Even when they're bad, they've always played significantly better at home than they do on the road. So I mean, and so that's one team. They're kind of like Kansas City used to be, where it was almost impossible to beat them in Kansas City, but then they just were terrible on the road, and that's kind of what Detroit is right now. Of course, Kansas City now, it doesn't matter where they play. They've got
it's an air show.
Yeah, they've got
See the
Superman.
second quarter yesterday for that?
Yeah, they got Superman playing
Holy
quarterback.
smokes. Frank, we had complaints about the audio not sounding right. Are we good or?
I fixed it.
Okay, my
Yeah,
man.
that was a soundboard thing that I forgot to do.
Frank makes the big bucks. What do you
Sure.
got, Frank?
That's why Frank is the man.
I know.
The 2-point, Michael DeAndre, the 2-point conversion didn't help either.
Carson's got to
He's got to get that in.
He's got to dive. He can't be just trying to slide in. You got to dive. You got to pull the John Elway in 1996 against the Packers.
It all ended up fine because
no, they got the second one. They got the second one. They got themselves back on track.
But yeah, if you're gonna die, you got to get in.
Yeah,
if you're gonna take a hit like that and take a risk.
You're gonna take it. If Carson Wentz is gonna run the ball, he's going to get hit. So you might as well go all out and try to get the 2 points, because if you're going to get hit anyway and you don't get the 2 points, then it really looks bad. So dive next time. Don't slide. Dive.
He did dive, but he gave himself up.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't understand.
Diving.
I didn't understand what
in
that.
the air.
He dove forward, but he's down when his knee hits.
You have to dive
he didn't
up
slide.
He has to dive in the air, the way like Elway did in the Green Bay in the game against Green Bay. That's what he had to do, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. You got to just all out go. If you're going to do it, do it that way.
There.
Yeah. I mean, or don't call the play and have Carson run the ball. If you're worried about him getting hurt,
I don't think that was designed run.
You don't think so?
No, I think no one was open, and he tried to make something happen.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe.
I could be wrong.
Maybe.
I don't know what the play call was.
But all I'm saying is, if it was the design call, okay. If you can't let him do what he's got to do, then don't call that play. It's not conducive to winning football games.
Dion Brown, downtown Dion Brown checks in. What's up, Dion? Seumalo isn't a starting, especially at left guard. The O-line was off all game. They have to clean that up ASAP. 43 rushing attempts. It's 43 rushing yards, not attempts. I believe it was 21. Actually, I have it right here because that was ugly, too. The run game was ugly. Still waiting for Walter Payton, Miles Sanders to show up. Everyone wants to tell me how good he is coming out of State College. I've seen ungats from him. So someone's got to step up and run the ball. Take advantage of this. Crap. Where did Dion's things go? Dag nabbit. But, I mean, there we go. Dion Breen, sorry, 43 yards on the ground total. That's all right. It's hard to listen to the echoes. That's from Eileen. Frank says we're all right, though.
Yeah, we're all right. I know some people are replying in the comments that that the audio is fine on their end. So I'm not sure what's going on, but it could be something on your end, Eileen.
Jake Friel checks
fine
in.
On my end.
Jake Friel checks in. Check out Jake and Kyle and Tyler Weston on the weekly roundup.
Now it's working for Eileen. There we go.
Saturdays at
Could be
1.
on a delay.
What's up, boys? Aguilar's drop and a bad defensive play call from Schwartz yesterday, aside from the Corey fumble to open the second half, was a momentum killer. Those are 3 solid points by Jake. The Schwartz, I'm never going to let that go. And if you want to say I'm crazy and want to debate it, that was just a piss-poor, bad defensive play call. And in my opinion, it cost the Philadelphia Eagles the game. That was the straw. I shouldn't say that because, the culmination of the errors cost the Eagles the game. But that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Just a horrendous defensive play call. I don't know what he was thinking. Having no high safeties and just basically putting on the Jumbotron that it's off man and we're blitzing. I just can't let it go. and he's going to be in my crosshairs next week if he's messing up again.
No, I don't think they're going to lose to the Lions, Rob. I think you're
I'm
I think you're going
nervous.
to be okay.
I
I
am
think you'll
nervous.
be okay.
Crazy game last night, but good times. How does tonight's game plan out? That's from Rob Povia. Look, the Jets are not looking good. Darnold's out. Bell's banged up.
Harlem Cowboy, in case you forgot, it was Aguilar that dropped it.
Yeah.
He's asking when to drop the dime at the end. He forgot who dropped it. It was Aguilar. Eagles need to make sure though that their receivers are back in the game next week. I mean, they're going to need those two guys. They're going to have a real problem winning that game if either Jackson or Jeffrey aren't playing. If both of them aren't playing, it's going to be a tough game for them.
Yeah.
If one of them plays, they'll be okay. But if they're missing both of them, then it's going to become a tough game.
A speedster like Deshaun with a bad groin, that doesn't sound encouraging. I don't like the sounds of that at all.
He might miss next week.
But Alshon Jeffrey's a strained calf. I mean, can that be serious? Yes, but
we don't know what degree it is, though. We just don't. They're not going to tell you. You have to wait till Wednesday when they come out with the injury reports, and then you'll find out what exactly is going on.
I'm more confident that Jeffrey's going to be able to play than Deshaun, though. A calf.
You can win without. Listen, you won last year without Deshaun, so. Jeffrey's key. You got to have him.
Jake Friel's coming in hot. The blame also goes on Doug for a lack of offensive creativity. I totally disagree with that. I think Doug coached a fantastic game last night with the weapons that he had.
And ballsy, 4th and 5, and he goes for it and gets the touchdown.
And Doug,
Doug goes, I got that's a tip of the cap for that
Doug
one.
Doug didn't change his style one iota.
No.
He didn't care who was out there.
Who
was hurt, who was active, who was playing, who wasn't blocking, who wasn't blocking. Doug is Doug. Doug goes for it. Doug's aggressive. Doug's a fantastic coach. Look, I don't know. He ran the ball 21 times. You know,
he didn't abandon the
run.
He
ran the ball 35.
They just didn't run the ball effectively.
Doing the rough math in my head, he had 21 runs to 40-something passes. I mean, that's roughly 35% of the time, maybe a little less than that. Doing the rough math in my head, he didn't abandon the run at all. Jordan Howard hasn't gotten going. Miles Sanders hasn't gotten going. Sproles hasn't gotten going. Corey Clement fumbled a kickoff last night, and I don't really think he's that good. But I mean, if you want balance, you gotta run it up in there. So I thought Doug called a fine game, Jake. I disagree with that. Michael DeAndre, Cowboys defense ranked 18th and Eagles 22nd. I mean, the Redskins got yards.
It's awfully early though to be worried about that. I mean,
really, the Redskins moved the ball again yesterday on Dallas, and they moved the ball against the Eagles in Week 1.
Yeah, and the Redskins gave it up defensively, though. But what, as far as the Cowboys are concerned, the Cowboys 2 weeks in a row have scored over 30 points, so they're looking like their offense is going to be pretty doggone good this year.
Doug said in his press conference he wanted to use a lot of 12 personnel, but obviously injuries didn't let that happen. Yeah, and I thought he adapted well on the run. No, I love Doug Peterson. I think he's a fantastic football coach. I think he clearly has the respect of his players. He has a Super Bowl championship. He has a franchise quarterback, and he's got big brass balls.
Yes, he does.
Checks all the boxes.
Yes, he does. As I said, going for a touchdown on 4th and 5, on 4th and goal from the 5, that's a ballsy call. Because you know what? He could have just as easily, when it was 7-6, he could have taken it, made it 17-9. Nobody would have complained about it. You could kick the field goal and make it a one-score game with the 2-pointer, and nobody would have said boo. Okay, but he went for it, and good for him, and he got it. I mean that shows a lot of confidence, and the fact that they have a lot of confidence in when they have a setup play for a situation like that they can execute the play, and you know what they did, and again that's a tip of the cap again. For something like that, that's a hell of a call, and there's a lot of guts involved in doing something like that. Because if he came up empty, he would have been hearing it.
He's got egg on his face, yeah.
Yeah, he would have been hearing it. But you know what? He got the touchdown, and that's why you have to be impressed with somebody like him. I mean, he's straight out of the Bill Parcells type of coach, Bill Belichick type of coach. That's Mike McCarthy. That's how these guys coach, and that's how he coaches, and you got to like that.
Eileen Pompey wants to know what our thoughts on Ben Roethlisberger is. Obviously, if you don't know, he's out for the season. He needs elbow surgery, and I think the Steelers are in real trouble, Brad.
Yeah, I agree.
James Conner got hurt. Mason Rudolph, I mean, he looked decent yesterday, but
yeah,
is he
but
going to be good over the long
what's going
haul?
on? But what's going on with Pittsburgh's defense?
It's not playing well.
No, I mean Pittsburgh, and you know, you got to wonder. And I know the Pittsburgh fans are going to be upset about this, and the New Orleans fans too. But is Eli Manning a possibility to get traded to one of these two teams?
New Orleans, no, because they have a lot of money invested in Teddy Bridgewater. Pittsburgh, I don't know.
I mean, Manning is on the last year of his contract, so if you
I don't
trade
know what their
for him,
cap situations are.
but if you trade, but if you trade for him, you know they could always work that out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's ways to skirt the cap on trades like that. I mean, I'm just wondering, you know, because you know the Giants at some point are going to go to Jones. It's only a matter. It could even be this week. Although most people are figuring Game 6 that they're going to do that. But is there a chance that that one of these franchises go out and talk to the Giants about getting Eli Manning in there? I think Eli Manning would be a terrific fit in New Orleans. Although, as you said, I do get it with Bridgewater. But you know what? Is Bridgewater good enough to really make a difference on that team? Is he going to throw to the – one thing I'll say about Manning, now I know he can't move, but you know what? If he's on the Saints, he will throw to the right guy. Because I think
Yes.
Joe Buck and Troy Aikman yesterday were making a point of saying, especially Troy Aikman, that Teddy Bridgewater was not throwing to the open receivers. He had guys open all over the place, and he wasn't and he was checking down and not really looking at the field. Now, I mean, Manning does do that. He will look at the field. He's not checking down like that. And you got to wonder with Bridgewater, is Bridgewater afraid to get hit? You know, he had some very serious injuries to his knee, and you just got to wonder. Because really, Breeze doesn't move around all that much anymore. I mean, he really can't throw the ball more than 30 yards down the field. Maybe Eli might be a good fit for 6 weeks. As I said, Eli's on his last year of his contract. So if you're getting Eli, you only need him for this year. And I mean, if Breeze is out more than 6 weeks, you know, are they going to make the playoffs with Teddy Bridgewater quarterbacking? Just wonder. I don't know if they make the playoffs with Eli either, but Teddy Bridgewater, I wonder.
Like I said, kind of at the top of the show, I think the NFC South was regarded it highly in preseason, and now not so much.
Well, I mean,
Atlanta,
you can't listen.
I think despite their win last night, Atlanta is average. I think Cam Newton is washed up. Tampa is not any good despite their win against
You
Cam
can't
Newton
listen.
and the
You can't
Carolina
hold.
Panthers.
You can't hold it against New Orleans for losing in Los Angeles. I mean, the Rams are
No, but
one
I
of the
mean,
best
how many
teams in the
games are they
NFL.
realistically going to win without Drew Brees if Teddy Bridgewater
don't-
plays like that? Teddy Bridgewater didn't look good yesterday.
No, he looked terrible. He did.
So I mean,
and you know that was the third time since.
could that be an 8-8 gets in the playoffs kind of division? I think it might be, based on 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Don't forget they will play each other too. So somebody's going to be dominant in that
You would
division.
think.
Yeah, you would think so.
But what's dominant? 10-6 max.
Yeah,
Is
no.
that
When I say
dominant?
dominant, somebody's
Yeah,
going to
someone's
go.
gonna rise to the top.
Somebody's going to go 5-1 in that division.
Or 4, yeah.
A-
Okay.
against in the 6 games, you know, and take advantage of their schedule. You know, whoever they play, they're going to win the games they got to win.
All right, let's get to my good, the bad, the ugly. When it comes to this Philadelphia Eagles loss to Atlanta, and really the Philadelphia Eagles in general. The good, I mentioned him before, he checks all the boxes as a head coach. Doug Peterson. He's aggressive. He doesn't care who's in, who's out. He's the same big ball Doug Peterson, aggressive, balls to the wall. He's a great coach. I'm so happy he's there. Not a lot of good. My other good is Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz has proved that he's a franchise quarterback through these first 2 weeks, despite slow starts. Like, I mean, if I see one more person tell me that Nick Foles should be on this team and Carson Wentz can't play, you got to be kidding me.
No, that's
You
just
got to
silly.
be kidding me. Not to mention that Foles is on IR right now.
Yeah.
With a broken collarbone, and if you want to, I mean,
And you
if
don't
you
know
wanna
that
talk in
Foles.
it- if
you don't
you-
know that Foles could play a whole season healthy.
if you want to talk in circles and tell me that, you know, Foles wouldn't be hurt if he's the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback right now, I mean, okay.
Yeah, because he wouldn't be playing.
Like, I mean, I
But,
just don't.
well,
I don't get
you're
it.
gonna pay
I
him
get
20
he won. I get he won the Super Bowl.
Are you going
Even
to the-
Kyle. Even Kyle's on board with Carson
Listen,
Wentz now.
what are you going to do? Pay $20 million to a player to sit on the bench?
No.
You can't do that. Not if you're
I
trying
wouldn't
to
pay
win.
Nick Foles $20 million to start for my football team. Let's say Carson Wentz didn't exist. He vanished tomorrow. Nick Foles is not a $20 million franchise quarterback.
No, he's not.
He's not.
He's not.
He performed a great service for this city.
He rises above. He
played
to
above
the
his
occasion.
head in the NFC title game and the
And he played
Super
a
Bowl.
fantastic Super Bowl game. He was fantastic. In that
Fantastic.
Super Bowl. I mean,
It's so funny because I was in Boston over the weekend. I was trying to go. We were drinking and stuff. So like a few of us were trying to goat the Patriots fans into like really getting on it. Like, hey, how good could Tom Brady really be? He lost to Nick Foles in the Super Bowl. They just kind of said, yeah, we lost that one. Nick Foles played great. We're happy for you. We got these 6 other championships that.
Yeah,
we're
well,
not really
yeah,
worried about
they're
that
not.
one.
No. When you're in it every year, it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to get that upset. They're probably. I don't think they're probably even upset about losing those 2 to the Giants. I mean, you can't expect to win every Super Bowl.
That's the good. Doug Peterson, Carson Wentz being a franchise quarterback.
The ugly is the once again not executing.
We got to do the bad first.
Okay.
Is what you're gonna say bad or ugly?
That's more bad.
Yeah.
Not
Go
executing.
ahead, lead it off.
Not executing in the fourth quarter. The defense not executing.
That's ugly for me because you know how
Okay.
I feel about that fourth
Okay.
down call.
Well, that
Ridiculous
the drop pass.
Awful.
This business in the fourth quarter is getting to be habitual, and it's got to stop. Can't continue. You can't keep having these games where you give the games up in the fourth quarter. I mean, they did it. If you remember the game in Dallas against the Cowboys, they did the same thing against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The defense allowed. Championship defenses don't allow a team to march down the field and win the game with 2 minutes to go.
I have 2 things in my bad. It's the running game. None of these running backs seem to be interested in stepping up.
I think that's more the ugly than anything else. The way they're running the football this year.
I can't put everything in the ugly.
Yeah, no, that's
I have some
that's
stuff in the bad
to me that's ugly. When you just see the way they're running the football right now, that's ugly. They're not running.
But
the
how
ball
much
well.
of their ineptitude running the football has to do with there being a black hole at left guard right now?
You can't blame it on one guy though. Maybe the running backs just aren't that good.
Maybe you're right.
That might be.
But I don't agree with that because I think there's talent in that backfield. I think Miles Sanders has talent. I think Jordan Howard has talent.
But you could always run the ball.
I think they're going to figure it out.
But you could always run the ball.
I'm just saying, that's why I'm not putting it in.
But you could always run the ball to the other side.
I get it.
I'm
not ready to call the running game ugly yet. It's bad.
First 2 weeks, it's been ugly.
I put it as bad because I still believe in the talent of those running backs.
Okay.
And then Ronald Darby has been bad. He's borderline ugly, but that guy is toast. That guy needs you got to get Minkah Fitzpatrick or Jalen Ramsey in here.
Well, I think you more need Ramsey than Fitzpatrick.
Well, I mean, whatever. I mean, you need someone not named Ronald Darby. Whether that's Jalen Mills coming off injury and being good or Crayvon LeBlanc coming back, you need an upgrade because it's not going to take much to upgrade that position right now.
Yeah, well,
Ronald Darby
has
not been good.
You watch Jalen Ramsey will end up with the freaking Patriots.
Yeah, that's what Kyle said, and I can't really disagree with him.
Yeah, I mean they'll find a way to tamper to get him too.
The only thing you got to hope is the Jaguars say, "No, what? We respect your offer. We don't care how much you're going to offer him.
We're not trading him to you.
We're not trading him to the AFC.
Yeah,
we're going to trade him to the NFC. So we only have to play him once every whatever it works out to be.
Yeah, so one guy will go to the Cowboys and one guy will go to the Eagles. That'll probably end. That'll be the Giants' luck.
Another thing that's bad is the injuries to the defensive line. Malik Jackson is out for the year. Timmy Jernigan broke his foot last night. He's out for 4 to 6 weeks.
That's a big loss.
I said that for the 3 episodes of the Sports Hounds leading up to the season, I said, look, I don't know if this edge rush is as good as it was last year, and it hasn't been, and I got buried for it, but Brandon Graham and Derek Barnett haven't gotten home, and it's going to be tough for Fletcher Cox to get home without a dominant defensive tackle like Tim Jernigan or Malik Jackson next to him.
Chris Collingsworth kept saying last night he thought Fletcher Cox was playing hurt. Is he playing hurt? He said it a few times. He mentioned it. I mean, he just said he doesn't look like
he did get foot surgery after the Saints game, and he really didn't participate in anything training camp, offseason.
Yeah, Collinsworth said he doesn't look he's not playing like his typical self, although it's very hard to be at that kind of a level, but he's not he's still really, really, really good, but he's not playing at the level he's been used to seeing him playing at right now.
Another thing I wanted to put in the good is our linebacker play. The Philadelphia Eagles linebacker play has been fantastic through the first 2 weeks. Zach Brown was quite an addition. He's a complete thumper in the middle, and Nigel Bradham is just a really, really solid football player. So that's been an Achilles heel for the Eagles in years past, and it seems to be shored up this season. Now you got, unfortunately, when you have a hard cap, now you got other problems. You get to the ugly. Offensive line play. Carson is getting hit way too much, Brad. Way too much, and with his injury history, that's concerning. It's time to get Andre Dillard up to speed and in at left guard. He's got to get his feet wet. Isaac Seumalo had one of the worst Pro Football Focus grades in the history of Pro Football Focus.
It's also time to be able to effectively run the football, and then you don't have to worry about him getting hit.
Maybe Dillard in there instead of Seumalo. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. Maybe you're right about the running backs. Maybe Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, Sproles, and Clement aren't that good.
Somebody in that group has to start.
Someone's got to step up. You need balance.
You need to be. If they can effectively run the ball, then Carson won't get. Not only will he not get hit as much, if they have to respect the run,
I mean,
then he'll have more time.
You got to get more than 2.5 yards a carry on 21 attempts. Like, that's pitiful. That's not going to get it done. No, it's not going to get it done.
It's not. It's not. But listen, again, it's only game 2. It's a 16-game season. There's plenty of time to correct these things. I think them coming home.
Got to correct it Sunday. You got to come out swinging Sunday. I don't even care if you cover the spread on Sunday.
Well,
the spread's too much.
They're coming.
You need a win.
They're coming home. Okay, I think the Lions probably played as good a game as they'll ever play.
10 points to a really good Chargers team.
I know, but that's 1 week.
Detroit's not going to roll over.
And remember the Chargers don't have Melvin Gordon, and that's a big.
Austin Eckler's been playing better than Melvin Gordon. He's been on fire.
He wasn't on fire yesterday.
No, he wasn't.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, banged up in that game. I missed some of the 1 o'clock games because I was driving back from Boston to get the pin set.
I was mostly watching the Giant game, to be honest with you. Boy, oh boy, the Giants. I don't know what to say about the Giants except when and I posted on Facebook.
We're gonna get to around the NFL really soon.
When they committed a personal foul on a field goal, I put in the Facebook.
Threw in the towel. Yeah, I saw you.
Just shoot me, because
you kind of threw in the towel. That was brutal.
No, that was. I mean, you listen, and it's bad enough when you're down 21-7, you score a touchdown and you make it 21-14. Okay. It's bad enough that you then at 21-14, your defense should be fired up and stopping Buffalo, that they march right down the field. But then you finally get a stop, and
Buffalo,
you force them
they're pesky. They're pesky.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when they have to play a good team. They might be pretty good. I'll tell you one thing
it's not going to be a tough out. It's not going to be an easy out when the Eagles have to go up there.
The defensive line is pretty damn good.
They're scrappy. They have a great defensive coach in Sean McDermott. It looks like they have. Looks like they have a quarterback figured out.
Yeah, their defense is pretty good. Well, and but I will say this again: 4th down. Okay, you stop. You get the stop, so you can make it 24-14 with 6 minutes to go. What do? Lawrence goes and he uses the center as a catapult to try to block the kick. Okay, and he gets a 15-yard penalty because you are not allowed to touch the center because he's considered a defenseless player. I mean, you can't do that. And of course, they give him the automatic 1st down, and they go to the 2-yard line. And of course, they score a touchdown in the next play. Instead of being down 10 points, now you're down 14 points. Game over. And plus the Bills were able to run off another 2 minutes on the clock. So instead of the Giants getting the ball down 10 with 6 minutes to go, now they get the ball down 14 with 4 minutes to go, and that's literally impossible, especially when they're missing Sterling Shepard. Latimer had a concussion, and he was out of the game, and of course Golden Tate's still serving his suspension. Who's he going to throw the damn ball to? Not that it seems to matter with him anyway. But I mean, they were keying on Saquon Barkley. They were triple teaming Evan Ingram. The Giants are a complete mess right now. What a joke franchise they've turned out to be.
Greg Malakovic, what's up, fellas? I'll disagree with the poll. That has nothing to do with the Eagles of last night. It has to do with Dallas and how good they look right now. They handled the Redskins better than we did, and our slow starts are a bit of a concern. I think this question and scenario can change week to week, though. I agree it can change week to week, but, I mean, look, I think we both agree, Brad, that NFC is the American League of the NFL right now. The NFC is far superior to the American AFC.
The AFC has three
The
good teams.
Patriots.
The Patriots, the Chiefs,
are really
and
good.
the Ravens. That's
yeah,
it.
the Ravens look good. But, I mean, is Lamar really going to do this for 16 games, though?
We'll see.
I guess so.
We'll see. I mean, listen,
But
the
I mean,
Ravens still have a tremendous defense.
the NFC, you have Eagles, Dallas,
You
Seattle,
have several real
Rams,
good teams, several elite teams.
Green Bay. I'm really just naming 2-0 teams that have impressed me, and there's a lot of them. The NFC West has 3 of them. I mean, the Niners, they kicked
They beat the tar out of Cincinnati.
Oh, they dominated him. Jimmy G looks really good.
Yeah, he does.
He looks like a franchise
He looked a
quarterback.
little shaky week 1, but they still won the game. And now and yesterday he got into a rhythm. And you're right, that Western Conference right now really looks good.
Yeah. Ralphie Delavecca, go get Jalen Ramsey. I'm with you, Ralphie. You give up a first-round pick for Jalen Ramsey?
Oh, for him? Well, considering the Eagles' pick would be around 25 or 26, yeah,
Might not be enough.
probably won't be. They're going to want more than a first-round pick. But you know what? That's the kind of guy. He's a lockdown guy. I mean, when you're playing Dallas, you can put him on Cooper and not have to worry about double teaming him. And when you're playing some of these other elite teams, it's the same thing. I mean, he's a difference maker. I don't know about Miami's safety. I mean,
Minka Fitzpatrick,
yeah, I don't know about
First-round
him.
pick.
Yeah, I don't know about him.
Alabama.
I don't know about him. I don't know if I'd be giving up the
Well,
farm for him.
he's not going to be a first-round pick.
They want a first-round pick for him.
Well, I mean,
Listen, Ramsey. Yeah, I would go all out to try to get him. He's worth it. I'll tell you who I could see getting one of these guys.
Mario Cerrito is really going in on you.
I could see what
Brad Ryer, he says you shouldn't be allowed past Trenton.
Oh, shut up.
He says you stink as well.
Oh, okay. Well,
thanks for watching, Mario.
Mario, I just want you to know that I do shower every day and I wear deodorant.
Doesn't
and
smell. I've been sitting
I
next
brush
to him.
I brush my teeth, so
He doesn't stink.
yeah, I
You're
don't
right
stink.
about that. You don't stink. You have
yeah.
outstanding personal hygiene. I've been sitting next to you
Yes.
in the broadcast booth here for about 5 years
Yes,
now. And
I'm
you
not
never stink.
smelly, so
You're
shut
not
up.
smelly.
He just doesn't seem to like the jersey. But you know what? I'm here and I show up, and
That's
I'm
all right.
I'm not
I
afraid
hate
to.
the team. I mean, it's a great player and a great look. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
if you're a Giants fan, I mean, I hate it, but
well,
whatever.
Listen, you know what? They stink, but you know what? I still support them. I'm still here. I still watch all the games. I'm not a fair weather fan. I watch. They just aggravate my every living being when I watch them. I always at 4:00 on Sunday afternoons. I'm always in a foul mood.
I was in a foul mood all
I mean,
day.
it
I was in
it
a
just
foul mood all day long today, Brad.
and
So pissed.
and then I hear Janoris Jenkins start pointing the fingers at other players on the Giants on the presser that.
He's not good enough to do that. I know he
Well,
thinks
did
he's
you
good
hear
enough
what
to
he
do that.
said?
No, I did not.
Oh no, he says he says I can't cover somebody for 10 seconds. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's how long I have to cover somebody. What do you expect it to happen?
He's right, but he's not good
Yeah,
enough.
but you
He's not.
can't
You're
say
right.
that.
Jalen Ramsey can say that.
Jalen Ramsey can say that.
Stephon Gilmore on the Patriots
Yes,
can say
he-
that.
yes,
They're all
he
pros.
can. Josh Norman can say that
Josh
too.
Norman can say that.
Okay, but come on, Janoris, stop it already. You're not making it any better by doing that. Okay, and by the way, the Giants did get some sacks yesterday, and they did get some pressures. But you know what? That guy can run. He's fast as hell, and when you put a rush on him, he was getting out of the pocket. We were putting pressure on him pretty much all day, but he's a playmaker. And if Dave Gettleman and Pat Shurmur haven't noticed, okay, a quarterback that can actually move around in the pocket and extend plays,
Which Josh
which
Allen can do.
Allen can do, is what we need right now. We don't need a guy with cement shoes back there throwing the ball, okay? When Eli has pressure, he doesn't move, he just throws, and the balls get batted down. okay, or he gets sacked. I mean, it's that simple. He's old. He's 37 years old. Yesterday, he looked like an old man yesterday. I mean, he made some nice throws when he had time. He did make some nice throws, but I mean, any good quarterback is going to make a nice throw when they have time. Okay? He can't escape. You see Josh Allen yesterday. There was a play where he was on the dead run, running to his right.
He made a lot of plays like that.
Well, it was third and 16, and he's running as hard as he can towards the sideline, and he throws a seed to that guy Brown.
Yeah, John Brown.
Yeah, for a 25-yard gain on 3rd and 16. I mean, and the Giants were putting a lot of pressure on. I mean, they were after him, and he extended the play, made a great throw, and they got the first down. And it was on that last drive too. I mean, bottom line is you have to have a quarterback that can move in the NFL these days. You know, you can't just have a guy stand back there looking. It just doesn't work. There's too much perfection that has to happen when you have a quarterback like that. And with the salary cap, it's very hard to have a perfect team to be able to do that.
And
okay, unless you're New England, who is a perfect team and always seems to be a perfect team, you can't do that. You have to be able to move around. I mean, I can't think of any top quarterback right now that can't move around all the time. I mean, even Drew Brees can move around a little bit. You know, I mean, Eli can't move. He just can't move. I want to see Jones.
Are you starting Jones next week if you're the coach, or owner, GM, whoever makes that call in New York?
I'm waiting until week 6. I don't want him to have to face New England.
I thought you play Tampa this week.
Right, but they play Tampa this week,
hey,
and then they have to play.
If you stink, why don't you throw him out there?
But then they
see what he's got.
But then they're going to have to play Minnesota and New England, and you know what? I would rather him start his first game against Arizona, and at least have a chance to win the game.
Isn't that baby talk? You're just going to baby him? Throw him out there. If he's better than Eli, get him out there.
Okay, but suppose Shepard and
what if he's good, Brad?
That's true.
And you start.
But what if Shepard
starting him
what if
too
Shepard?
late?
But what if Shepard and Lattimore can't play? So he doesn't have any weapons.
Brad, you know what I mean?
You know, I just want to see the kid be successful.
The Giants are in the midst of a rebuild.
No, I agree.
So, what are you going to have him sit for 2 years until everything's perfect for him?
If you were asking me,
what if he's good?
If you were asking me, he should have started this year, and Eli should have been dumped. Yeah, we should have used the $16 million
to improve the defense
to improve the defense. But no, we couldn't do that.
All right, we got a minute left here. Rounding out my ugly, the offensive line was ugly. Isaac Samuel, he's got to grab a stick, take a height. Andre Dillard, I want to see him at left guard moving forward. And ugly was Jim Schwartz's 4th down play call last night. Whatever. I'll back off to have him fired. That was ridiculous of me to say. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I'm a passionate guy, but that was overboard.
That's okay. I'm always screaming for Aaron Boone to get fired too, Rob.
So I mean, if you want to give me the death penalty for saying Jim Schwartz should get fired because I was frustrated after that loss last night against an average, I still maintain that Atlanta's an average team. But I mean that play call.
I think they're a little better.
That play call on 4th and 3 last night was piss poor, and it pissed me off. I'm still mad about it. I was in a miserable mood all day. They should have won that game. You're going to look back at this. If the Eagles don't get home field advantage or don't get a wild card berth, God forbid, you're going to look back at this Atlanta game and think what could have been. All right, Sports Hounds, we'll be back right after this. Second half, we got around the NFL, we got MLB, we got college football talk, and we'll do our early leans for Week 3. Sports Hounds, A2D Radio, we'll be back right after this. Welcome back. A2D Radio. Real Talk Studios, Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. As always, we're brought to you by Certified Gibson Mayer Certified Accountants. There are certified accountants. Make them yours as well. Poll question brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy, Doc Fidel. 3 convenient locations. No appointment necessary. Kyle Meager checking in. Kyle couldn't be here tonight. He's probably committing. Checking out 3 from Hell, a Rob Zombie movie. Prior commitment. But Brad, let's go around the NFL. Let me get the games up here. All right, we'll start on Thursday night. It is 12-0 Cleveland Browns over the New York Jets right now. I'm assuming that's going to go to 13 unless there's an extra point missed.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Sari.
That was something.
All right, let's go back to Thursday night. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers take out the Carolina Panthers 20-14. And like I said earlier in the show, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers created the blueprint to beat the Carolina Panthers. They loaded the box. Christian McCaffrey did nothing, and Cam Newton was incapable of beating them with his arm, Brad.
Cam Newton looks like he's washed up.
I couldn't agree more.
I think he's had too many injuries. I just don't think he's got much left in the tank. I mean, he may not be the man anymore. Carolina may be in a position where they're going to have to start thinking about another quarterback pretty soon.
And then Cody Burns checks in to A2 Live. What's going on? What's happening? Is it because Frank left from calling offensive plays? Is it because there's no Blunt? What the hell is happening? Lions 2-0, and we play the Pack after that. Lions are 1-0-1. They're not 2-0. They are unbeaten, though, and the Packers look like they're for real. Look, it's not Doug's fault. Doug did fine last night. It's offensive line. There's no balance, and you're not protecting Carson. That's the problem with the offense. I still maintain that they lost last night's game to an average Atlanta team that was begging to get beat at home in prime time because of a flawed, awful, defensive brain fart by Jim Schwartz. Inexcusable. It was a bad play. It was schemed bad. He put the play on the Jumbotron for Matt Ryan to just audible and check down to Julio Jones. And there was no safety back there to help. Kyle checks in. Cam Newton stinks. Have a great night. Fly, Eagles, fly. Boy, this team has to win. They have to rebound next week against the Lions. Have to do it.
They
You have no choice. Because I don't think you're going to win in Green Bay on 4 days rest.
And the next game we have was the Ravens defeating the Cardinals 23-17.
Yeah, I think we both called that one last week. The Cardinals were 13.5-point underdogs. They cover that number pretty easily. They were in that game the whole way. I'm a big Kyler Murray fan, Brad.
Threw for 349 yards. No touchdowns, though.
Tops in the league.
Yeah.
St.
Louis, the Cardinals were just not able to run the ball yesterday.
It's typical.
They only ran for 20 yards.
It's typical Ravens, and they look really good. They're 2-0. They smoked the Dolphins. They beat a decent Arizona team.
And Lamar Jackson, 24 for 37, 272 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Also ran for $120 on the ground.
he had a sensational
He's
game.
Playing unbelievable.
Ingram had 47 yards. I mean, the Ravens showed a little bit with the running game.
Typical Ravens team, ground and pound, great defense.
Yep.
Through 2 weeks, I would with Pittsburgh struggles and Cincinnati struggles, and we'll see how the Browns rebound tonight. The Baltimore Ravens are the class of the AFC North.
Absolutely. At this point, you'd have to say so.
Love Kyler Murray, though.
Yeah,
and Cliff Kingsbury did better.
He's
he
had
rebounded from a kind of a rough start.
They're definitely showing you something. The Lions shocking the Los Angeles Chargers, 13-10. Rivers
wasn't very good.
No.
He threw an awful pick at the end there.
Yes, he did.
The Chargers, they always find a way to just not get over that hump.
They do. They always find a way to lose. I mean, the Chargers actually ran the ball pretty well yesterday with both Eckler and Jackson. 66 yards for Eckler, 59 for Jackson. So, I mean, they had a pretty decent running game, but for whatever reason, they could not find the end zone.
Phillip Rivers had yards. Keenan Allen had yards. Nothing translated the points.
Yeah, they couldn't find the end zone.
So they're 1-1.
Lions
unbeaten.
Yeah, the Lions.
Lions come to the link. They gotta win this game next week.
Matthew Stafford.
Gotta win this game next week.
Matthew Stafford, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The Lions as usual
He's
at
a good
home
player.
played very well.
It's a shame that they're clueless and have wasted his career because I do think Matthew Stafford is a good player.
Oh, I've always liked him. I've always liked him.
All right, what's the next game, Brad?
Next game, is Colts 19, Titans 17. Big win for the Colts. Huge win for the Colts.
Yep, Jacoby Brissett brings him back, throws a touchdown to Hilton to take the lead.
3 touchdown passes, only 146 yards, but you know what?
Right.
3 touchdown passes, and the Colts were able to run the football for, let's see, 130, 100. They ran the football for about 170
They're
yards.
going to do that. They have good running backs
Yes,
with
they
Marlon
do.
Mack and Hines and
Brissett didn't
Wilkes.
and Brissett only threw 1 pick, 3 touchdown passes.
If Brissett doesn't make mistakes, he's good enough quarterback to keep the train on the tracks.
Oh, absolutely. He's got a lot of ability.
Peter Evans check-in, must win week 3 simply because Dallas won't. Oh, well, Dallas plays Miami at home, so they're already 3-0. Cody Brones, do you think Howie makes a major trade? If so, do you think for a shutdown quarterback, and does Jim get fired
No.
this offseason?
No.
I mean, Jim's not going to get fired. He made an egregious brain fart error that cost the Eagles the game, in my opinion, last night, but he shouldn't get fired. He built up enough body of work. Even though I said that because I was angry, he shouldn't get fired.
Okay, 49ers 41, Bengals 17. I mean, the 49ers, besides for Garoppolo throwing for almost 300
Peter
yards.
Evans, he thinks Dallas is going to win. You got to win to keep pace. So that's a good point by Peter. Check
Yeah.
Peter out Friday night on Philly Sports Guys.
The running game for the 49ers, I mean, they ran for almost 260 yards. I mean, that's where they won the game.
And Jimmy Garoppolo is looking like a franchise quarterback.
17 for 25, 297 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, sensational effort. Sensational effort. The 49ers are looking good.
Yeah, and the Bengals kind of showing their true colors after kind of giving Seattle a scare
Yeah, absolutely.
in week 1.
The Texans with a big win over the Jaguars after losing just a
Doug Marrone should quit.
Crazy loss last
Doug
week.
Marrone should go home and
Saints.
quit. That guy stinks, Brad. Doug Marrone stinks. I mean, you lose Foles in week 1. Your 6th-round pick, Gardner Minshew, is killing it. He brings you all the way down the field. He throws a touchdown
23 for 33, 213 yards and a touchdown. He also runs for 56 yards. He ran for more yards than Fournette did.
How about his performance on the game-winning drive? Not game-winning drive because they didn't win, but the drive at the end of the game.
The touchdown, yeah.
And then Doug Marrone runs it up the middle. He doesn't put Minshew on the edge. He doesn't let Minshew make a play at all. What are you doing?
He lets Fournette try to do it, and they knew he was going to do that.
And then he wants to pick a fight with Jalen Ramsey, his best player, over what plays should be challenged and what plays shouldn't be challenged.
Yeah, ridiculous.
You can't run over.
Ramsey also can't be acting like that.
Look, Ramsey's a bonehead, but
yeah, I mean,
Doug Marrone played right into him. You know.
Yeah, well, Marrone has to be smarter than that. But you can't play like that.
Peter Evans just says Trevor Siemian just broke his ankle. I don't know if that's exaggeration or hyperbole. We don't have the game on here in the Real Talk Studios.
That would be
game doesn't interest me in the least.
Being that he was 3 for 6 for 3 yards, no big loss for the Jets.
And it looks like we will finally see the NFL debut of Luke Falk
from Washington State.
From Wazoo.
He was good in college.
He was. And then the Titans drafted him. And then he fell into irrelevance.
Okay, next game was the Packers 21.
The Packers are really good.
Vikings 16.
The Packers are
horrible game for one Kirk Cousins, who once again
Shocker.
against a good team doesn't get it done. 14 for 32, 230 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks.
He's terrible.
Unacceptable. Delvin Cook with a great game, runs for 154 yards. I mean, the Vikings actually ran the ball for almost 200 yards this game. But again, wasn't enough. Kirk Cousins just doesn't seem to pick it up to play his best football against good teams.
He's not good.
He's a bully quarterback. He beats up the crappy teams, and when he goes up against a tough defense, he always fails.
Dalvin Cook,
clutch.
I mean, he threw the ball 10 times in week 1 in their win. 10 times.
Yeah.
In 4 quarters, 60 minutes.
I know. And Aaron Rodgers yesterday, his usual masterful performance, 22 for 34. 209 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. the Packers are able to run the football effectively. And look at this, 116 yards for Jones, and they had
Jamal
a total.
Williams is not having a bad season either.
No, he had 28 yards. I mean,
And the Packers' defense is much improved.
They absolutely are. And
They're
the
a
Packers
good team.
The Packers always find they always find guys to throw the ball to.
I forget if
amazing.
I picked them to make the playoffs, but if I didn't,
Well,
they're
they're
definitely going to win the North.
They're looking real good right now. I mean, they beat the Bears, and now they beat the Vikings. So they're 2-0 in the division. They're looking good. Cowboys 31, Redskins 21.
Yeah, I mean the Cowboys.
Another solid performance
good.
by Dak Prescott, 26 for 30. And 269 yards, 3 touchdowns.
He's
1
playing for that
interception.
bread.
Yep. Elliott with 111 yards rushing. I mean, just an overall solid game for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys are going to be a tough team. They're going to be a tough out. I mean, there's no question about that. I mean,
their defense is good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. I mean,
that
and their receiving corps.
Terry McLaurin, or however you say his name for the Redskins.
Yeah.
He looks like a decent little receiver they found.
Yes, he
off
is.
The scrap heap.
Yes, he is. But you look at the Cowboys, and again, that guy Gallup who just destroyed the Giants.
He's out 2 to 4 weeks now. He had to get knee surgery.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a shame. But
so Randall Cobb's going to have to step up, and I assume that
I don't doubt that he can do that.
Feature Zeke more.
Yeah, Gallup had 6 catches for 68 yards.
Yeah, he had a monster game against the Giants too.
Yes,
Dallas is good.
Yeah, they are good.
Probably my early favorites in the NFC. They look like the best team in the NFC.
We've already been through the Bills and the Giants. I'm not going to keep running out that dead horse. The Patriots destroyed Miami, 43-0. Brady 20 for 28, 264 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, this was as easy a win.
Interesting.
For the Patriots.
After the game, when the media entered the locker room to talk to Antonio Brown was already off the premises, and his name tag was taken off of his locker already before the media could even enter. So
he's a
perhaps that
they just didn't
well,
want
I
him
mean,
to
I
say
don't think that's on him. I think that they rushed him out.
Yeah, because they don't want him to say anything wacky because they don't trust his big
that
mouth.
Or is a suspension on the horizon from the NFL.
Or they're afraid he's going to say something that might incriminate him on that investigation.
Right.
So
the Patriots are protecting him from Antonio Brown.
Right, exactly. The Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, 443 yards passing.
It was really all in one quarter, too.
4 touchdowns in the second quarter.
250 yards, I think, close to it in the second quarter.
Yeah, I mean, McCoy only had 23 yards rushing. He averaged 2 yards a carry. I mean, the Chiefs didn't run the ball at all, but I mean, they did all their damage in the second quarter. And I'll tell you what, this guy Robinson, I mean, it's amazing that the Chiefs they can lose their best receiver and arguably one of the best receivers in the NFL, and
I don't think it matters.
And then this guy
good.
Mahomes just throws the ball now to Robinson for six catches, 172 yards and 2 touchdowns, and of course, as usual, Travis Kelce with his usual solid game, and Sammy Watkins stepping up 6 catches for 49 yards.
Sammy Watkins is supremely talented.
Oh yeah,
it's always health. It's always health with him.
Yeah, he's
the one thing I'll say about the Raiders is the effort is there. They're not pushovers, and I think they're on the right track with Mike Mayock and Joe.
They'll be better. They'll be better. The Rams 27 and the Saints 9.
We kind of already talked about that.
Yeah, we've talked about that. That was a blowout.
Rams look good.
The Rams look good, but the Saints didn't have. They
didn't have Drew Brees.
They lost Brees. They got screwed again by the officials. I mean, there's not much more to say. The Bears 16, the Broncos 14. This time Pinero was dinero. No more Cody Parkey.
I like that.
Yeah, that's what they were. Well, I didn't make that up.
Look,
I didn't make that up, guys. That's what they said. So
I mean,
I'm not
Mitchell Trubisky's kind of the whipping boy of young quarterbacks. No one really seems to
think
he's any good.
Only 127 yards through passing. I mean, that's
decent defense, tough place to play on the road. They got the win.
No,
they
got
him
the
in
win.
position to win.
That's all, and that's really all you could ask.
Over
for
the
him.
long haul, I have a hard time seeing the Bears miss the playoffs. They have a really good defense, and I just you get cold weather there in Chicago. I mean, I don't know.
And windy. It's not an easy place to play.
I have a hard time
You know what though? The Bears
picking against a hard-nosed defense like
the
Chicago.
Bears
when
the
push comes
Bears
to
can
shove.
run the football. It's that simple.
Yeah, Montgomery looked
Montgomery
good. Their
had
rookie
62
Tariq Cohen
yards.
is very dynamic.
Yep. Patterson with 50 yards rushing. I mean, you know, they're just an old-fashioned, old-school kind of team that
I think
runs
I
the ball and plays defense.
I think Matt Nagy's a pretty good coach too.
Yeah.
And Denver, there's just not much there.
And
for Denver
Panera
these
with
days.
a 53-yard game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
I mean, boy, I'll tell you
Shame
what,
they
that's
didn't
a
have him
long
last
way.
year against the Eagles. They might be in the Super Bowl.
Well, the Eagles, he didn't play for the Bears last year. Parkey did.
I know.
You know, they lost
Didn't
a lot
work
of
out.
games because of him. And of course tonight the Browns lead the Jets 13-0. The Jets finally look like they were putting up a threat, but they got to the Cleveland 38.
Well,
but it
the
looks
Jets
like that
are
drive's going to stall.
The Jets are down to their third-string quarterback.
Right, because
Simeon seems to be hurt very seriously.
Simeon was 3 for 6 for 3 yards, and now Falk is 1 for 1 for 1 yard. So the Jets with 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the first half have thrown the ball for 4 yards.
Boys, Le'Veon Bell
4
going to get a
yards.
lot of touches on that team.
Le'Veon Bell has 11 carries for 46 yards already, and
He's going to get so many touches.
yeah, I think the Jets are going to have to try to kick a field goal because they have 4th down and long from the Browns' 28-yard line.
I mean, I know you hate the Browns because Baker was calling out the Giants and Odell Beckham's calling out the Giants.
Well, Odell Beckham's an asshole, and so is Baker. Worry about your own team. What do you care about the Giants for? The Giants stink, and they're not even in your division. Why don't you talk shit about the Ravens, because you have to play the Ravens a couple of times.
Twice.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So talk shit about the Ravens. I mean, the Giants stink. We all know that. This is not news. And Odell,
do you think that
all Odell did was cry and complain the whole time he was here. So you know what? Now you're not on the team anymore. We didn't trade you to the Rams, so get over it.
I think that in terms of the AFC, the Patriots and the Chiefs are cut above everyone.
I would agree.
Then you kind of have the Ravens there. So
and the Chargers.
Yeah, but they lost Sunday.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Do I think they're good? Yeah.
Yeah,
But even though I didn't have them, we'll see.
We'll see. But no, you're right. The two elite teams in the AFC right now are clearly the Patriots and the Chiefs.
I mean, I don't know I don't know what the South is gonna be. Colts could still win.
So could I picked the Titans. I mean, you know, it's going to be
Houston's
Deshaun
Watson.
Yeah, Houston's 1-1 now.
He looks like a player.
Yes, he does.
I know I get on him sometimes because he reminds me of McNabb the way he throws the ball into the ground sometimes. But he's a supreme talent.
Oh, he absolutely is.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys though. If he's in too emotionally strung up in a game,
just like McNabb.
Yeah, he'll
He's
throw
a spitting
the ball.
image of McNabb.
Yeah, he is. He is. He's got a lot of ability. Tremendous athlete. Tremendous arm. But you know, sometimes he's not accurate. You know, when he comes out and he starts,
Yeah.
he's like a pitcher that's wild and can't find the strike zone. That's kind of what you have with him. But when he finds the strike zone, he's impeccable, and he's a danger to take the ball and run 50 yards every time he goes back to pass. So you've got to always worry about that too. And that's a real good thing as far as if you have him on your team.
Let's look ahead. Let's get some early leans. Look at these early lines for Week 3 before we get into some baseball and hopefully some college football if there's time. We got another Thursday night stinker on our horizon as the Tennessee Titans will travel to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars.
That should be a real snoozer.
I have no interest in watching this game. Tennessee is a road favorite by 1.5.
I think Tennessee wins the game.
On the road, I guess. I like this Gardner Minshew, though.
He's okay, but you know what? I think Tennessee's defense.
He's not good. Like, he is what he is, but I like the way he plays.
Well, he's going to get a chance. He's going to get a chance to prove it against a pretty good defense again. In the Tennessee Titans, I just think Tennessee's a pretty good team. I think they're going to win the game. I think it's a field goal game.
1 o'clock Sunday, the Atlanta Falcons travel to Indianapolis
That would
The
be
Colts are a 2.5-point favorite. I really like the Colts here.
Yeah, that would be a loss for the Falcons.
I like the Colts here.
Yeah, I do too.
So potentially 2-1 for the Colts with no Andrew Luck.
Yeah, I think that well,
Really
it is,
talented.
The only thing that would scare me, if you're betting the Colts, is it is an inside game, because the Colts play indoors.
Correct.
So, when Atlanta plays indoors
But
all the time.
Marlon Mack's an athlete. Paris Campbell's an athlete. T.Y. Hilton's an athlete. Jacoby Brissett's a little bit of an athlete.
I understand that.
They have athletes too.
Yeah, it should be an interesting game. I mean, that's a game I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. As far if I'm betting, I wouldn't touch that game, because I think that game could really go either way.
All right, how about this? How about this barn burner? 1:00 Sunday afternoon. The Baltimore Ravens are going to visit the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are 6.5-point favorites in the ball game. I think that's too many, Brad.
That's too many.
I like the Ravens plus 6.5. They
Yeah,
might win the game. They might not, but
I
I
would
think they're going
say
to keep it close.
my opinion, Chiefs 31, Ravens 27.
Well, I mean, we're going to find out if Lamar Jackson has the goods. He's going to go up against Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, I think the Ravens will absolutely score some points. But nobody's really going to stop the Chiefs. The Chiefs, especially in Kansas City, they're really tough at home. Really tough at home. They're one of those teams that has a significant home field advantage. I don't see them losing that game. But 6.5 is way too many.
Bob Brinkman checks in. Jags could implode now. Ramsey already asking out. Yeah, we touched on that. I hope Howie gets involved so we don't have to watch Ronald Toast Darby play anymore, because he was terrible last night. Another snoozer, Cincinnati's going to visit Buffalo. Buffalo's favored by 6. I guess they'll cover that number.
Yeah, I think Buffalo's going to romp.
That would put them 3-0.
Yeah, Buffalo in a romp.
Denver visiting Lambeau, and the Packers.
The Packers will destroy
They should.
them.
They don't have enough offense to keep up with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I'll lay that 8.
31.
I'd lay the 8 there.
31-14. Packers.
We already touched on this one a little bit. Detroit's coming to the link to play our Philadelphia Eagles. I think 7 points is too many. I'll take the Lions plus 7 as my early lean.
I like the Eagles. I think the Eagles win the game. I think it's going to be around 31-23 or 34-24, something like that.
We got another 2. Some of these pro lines are starting to look like college lines. Miami's visiting the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are favored by 21 points.
Take the Cowboys.
I got it. I can't not take 21.
Cowboys.
I can't not take. Dallas is going to win the game, but I'm going to take my 3 touchdowns.
And you will lose, because it'll be like 38-0.
You might be right, but I can't lay 21 points on a professional football game. That's ludicrous.
But Miami is
It's a lot.
Miami is.
I got to
might
show up
be
one
the-
of these times. Wouldn't that be
No, they
something?
don't. No, they don't.
Don't you think?
No.
Maybe
that
you're
team
right.
is really real. That team is legitimately
I can't
horrible.
lay 21 points in a pro football
Oh,
game.
I would be all over that one. I would give up the 21 points.
All right, and then the Jets are visiting Foxborough next week.
What's
I mean,
the line
it's
of that,
18.
20?
It's 18 right now, but it has Simeon as the quarterback. Obviously, that's going to be Luke Falk, unless Sam Darnold has a miracle recovery.
He's not coming back. He's not. Sam Darnold's going to be out at least a month. He's
Yeah,
got mono.
that's 18.
He's got mono. Listen. If
Bob
he gets
Brinkman,
hit,
Bob Brinkman says
if
the
he
Dolphins
gets-
are terrible.
if
They
he
are terrible,
plays-
but I can't lay 21
if
points. It's crazy.
Darnold plays and he gets hit in the spleen, he could die.
It's true.
So he's not going to play. There's no way. There is no
I
way.
would
in
lay-
hell.
I would lay the 18 points.
I would
in
lay the
Foxborough.
18 points too.
I can't lay 21. I'm sorry.
I mean, the Jets, even if they get all their injured players back, they're not going to have Darnold.
This next one, Brad, this might be my early lean of the week. We got the Oakland Raiders heading to Minnesota. Oakland is getting 8 points. I'll take that 8. Oakland may even step up and win this game for Chucky and Mayock and Derek Carr. Derek Carr looks good.
8 points is a lot.
Derek Carr looks good.
Yeah, no, I know he does. 8 points is a lot. Minnesota doesn't really score that many points. That's too many points. Because Oakland is not good, but they're not that bad. They're not a bad team. They're just
like 6-7, maybe an 8-win team.
they're like a 7-9 team.
Yeah.
They're not going to get blown out.
on the right track.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah, they're gonna keep it. They're gonna keep it competitive and give them a fight.
That's tough for me to say because I'm not the biggest John Gruden fan.
Yeah, but I
So
think
Matt Curley out there, I am giving it up to your Raiders. They're on the right track. They're going to cover this weekend against the Minnesota Vikings.
I think so, too.
They might
I
win.
Would agree. I would agree.
And you know I hate the Vikings, so anytime they can
Well,
lose
yeah,
is...
I understand that.
Getting into the 4 o'clock slate, Carolina heading to Arizona. I have no feel for what's going to happen there.
I'll take Arizona.
You're getting 2.5 points. The Cardinals are a home dog.
I'll take the Cardinals.
4:05, your New York Giants are visiting Tampa Bay.
I don't
Tampa
care what
Bay
the line is. I'll
a
take Tampa Bay.
6.5 it is.
I'll take Tampa Bay.
Houston and the Chargers. The Chargers are at home. They're laying the standard 3 points.
Wait, what was the over/under on the Giant?
48.
40. I might take the over on that too.
Yeah.
I think I would. I think with Tampa Bay and the Giants, I like the over. I think that's going to be. I think both teams are going to score a lot of points.
Here's another one I really like in the early going here. New Orleans heading to Seattle. Seattle is only giving 4.5 points with Teddy Bridgewater starting for the Saints. I think the Saints move to 3-0 with ease.
You mean the Seahawks?
The Seahawks, yes. Sorry.
Yes, I would agree.
Then you have the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to San Francisco. San Francisco favored by a touchdown at home over the Steelers.
That's too many points.
Feels like too many.
That
screams stay away.
Yeah, that's a lot of points.
I would take the dog if I had
I would
to bet.
too. I would too.
Take the Steelers. They got Tomlin's got to have him show up one of these games, right?
Yeah, I mean, I am concerned about Mason Rudolph, what they're going to get out of Mason Rudolph, and I don't know who's going to be throwing the ball.
Their defense stinks too.
Yeah, I know. And Garoppolo is starting to play well, but
7's
a lot.
Sunday night football. The Los Angeles Rams heading east to play the Cleveland Browns. The Rams are favored by 3 on the road.
The Rams will absolutely beat the living hell.
It looks
out
like
of the
that.
Cleveland Browns.
That next week.
The Browns are improved, but they are still basically
Browns. They're up 13-3 just before halftime on Monday Night Football. They win this, they're 1-1, and they can beat the Rams somehow to get to 2-1. That'd be something.
The Browns are not beating the Rams. Come on. Be serious. The Rams are going to slice them and dice them.
Cleveland is going to be – that place is going to be bumping.
Yeah, until they have to go up against that Ram defense, and then
fair enough.
And then the Browns offense is going to be thumping and dumping.
Bob Brinkman thinks the Steelers are in trouble. I agree.
Yeah,
Ben's out. Their defense is terrible.
Yeah, I do too.
You gotta be careful when you're turning your nose up at talent like Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. I know they're divas and they can be a little bit of a pain in the butt sometimes, but they're really good football players.
I know.
I don't care what your culture is or what you did in the 70s or who your head coach is or who your owner is. You got to have players to win football games.
They let them both go, and they really don't. I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster is really good, but he's
not
a
number
lot better when he is number 2 than when he's number 1. Because the Steelers don't have a legitimate guy to throw to that's number 2. I think the Steelers are in big trouble.
Bob Brinkman makes a good point about next weekend's Sunday night football game. The Browns have no one to block Aaron Donald.
No one.
Very few teams do.
And let me ask you a question. Who is going to cover Cooper Kupp?
Good question.
Who is going to stop Todd Gurley?
Good question.
And the Rams defense.
Look, I just think it's going to be a great atmosphere.
It'll be a great atmosphere, but the Browns are going to lose 17-3. That's my prediction.
That doesn't look that wouldn't be a good look for Tommy's son there, Baker Mayfield.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Baker, but you know what, Baker, you are going to get sliced, diced, and hit hard. Okay, because if you thought Tennessee's defense was tough, just wait till you see this Ram defense. This Ram defense is real tough. Remember, they did lose the Super Bowl to the Patriots 13-3. They still held the Patriots to 13 points. Okay? You think you guys are going to score? You think you guys are going to be scoring a lot of points? I doubt it. This Ram team is real good. real good. They looked terrific yesterday against New Orleans. I know New Orleans didn't have Drew Brees. I get that. But, the Rams still looked real good yesterday. And they seem to play well on the road, too. They seem to travel very well. So, that's my opinion. I don't care what the Browns do to the Jets. The Jets are so messed up now because they don't have Sam Darnold. Probably they're not going to have him for the season. Do you know that no quarterback has ever come back in the same season from having mono?
Mono's serious. I had mono before. I mean,
Mono takes at least a month.
I was really
weeks.
wiped out for a good 6 months.
Yeah, as
mono
far
as like my stamina and getting
mono
fatigue,
takes at least. They're saying mono takes at least a month to 6 weeks just to get it out of your system.
Yeah.
So I mean to get it out of your system, if it takes a month to 6 weeks, that means Darnold's out that long, and then he has to get himself back into football shape.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at least 8 to 9 weeks with Darnold.
Yeah. Bob think the Rams middle rush will kill them. All great points.
They will. They will. I mean, it's a terrible matchup. Terrible matchup, and the Rams will take the ball and stick it right up their throats.
All right, let's talk some baseball, Brad. Another disappointing weekend for the Philadelphia Phillies. Bryce Harper got kicked out of the game yesterday.
Losing twice to the lowly Red Sox.
You waste a gem by Aaron Nola on Saturday night. Eduardo Rodriguez totally shuts you down. Let me bring up these standings here.
The Red Sox, by the way, lead the league. Their bullpen is even worse than the Mets bullpen. That's really hard to believe. But their defense is just awful. Rather, their bullpen is just awful.
And it's a shame because Yelich is out for the year for the Brewers. Baez and Rizzo look like they're going to be missing time for the Cubs.
Right.
Looks like Washington's kind of really going to slide in there as number one wild card.
Right, and they're not going to be able to be challenged. And the Phillies just don't seem to have enough life in them to.
The problem
to
is
make a big move.
When Nola loses, it's a huge problem because the other 4 starters aren't that good, and then you're susceptible to a long losing streak.
And and also Vargas just got smoked by the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm.
One thing the Red Sox can still hit.
I mean, they're 4.5 back. What's 76 and 72 is how many?
148.
148. So there's about 12.
14
they're
games
kind
to
of
go.
done.
4.5 with 14 to go. That's rough. That means if the Cubs win 9 out of 9 games, that it's over.
I mean, the Mets are 4 back. That's a tall task. Milwaukee's 9-1 in their last 10. They're a game back of the Cubs.
Yeah, they just won 2 out of 3 in St. Louis.
So I would cut it off. Mets, Phillies, Arizona, San Francisco, Cincinnati. You're done.
Yeah, they're done.
Washington and either Chicago or Milwaukee will be the second wild card in the National League. The Dodgers have already clinched. The Braves have already clinched. St. Louis clinching. What are these central standings? The Cardinals don't really have this central.
No, they don't have it wrapped up yet. They just lost
a lot
2 out
to be
of 3.
determined.
They just lost 2 out of 3 to the Brew Crew.
Yes, they did. That Josh Hader for the Brewers, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a dominant reliever. I mean the
they're
Cubs
2
are only,
up.
The Cubs are only
They're 2 back.
Yeah, the
Milwaukee's
Brewers are
3 back.
Yeah, they're still 3 back. That's a lot this time of year, though. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's still asking a lot.
And then
now the American League, you've got one hell of a wild card race going right now between the Tampa Bay Rays, the Cleveland Indians, and the Oakland A's. I believe the A's are in the lead, are they not?
the A's they're 90 and 60, 30 games over 500 with the second lowest payroll in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
They have a run differential of 152, which means that their offense is good. But
they're good. Listen, and now they got Sean Manaea back. They're going to be real.
Tampa Bay has the lowest payroll in baseball. They're locked into the second wild card as of now.
And their record is?
They are 87 and 63. I'm sorry, 89 and 62 for the Rays. Cleveland's 1.5 back of the Rays, 87 and 63.
But
I think
one
Oakland,
in the loss column.
One in the loss column, yes.
So they're right there. That's still.
I'm
too
rooting
close
for
to
the
go.
2 low payrolls to get in.
That would be a lot of fun. But
'Cause then
honestly, I'm rooting for any team but Oakland to get.
Right.
Oakland is tough.
They held their own against Houston
and
recently, and they've been the only team that's been able to consistently beat the Yankees.
Well, they lost 2 out of 3 in Yankee Stadium, but they
Swept them out there.
They swept them out there. They won 3 out of 4 in Houston, and they swept a 4-game series against Houston at home.
They're a
And
good
including a
So
bashing.
do the Yankees?
of
So the
Verlander.
Yankees don't have. So the Yankees, you almost don't want to be the top seed in the American League.
Yeah, but you do, because if you play Houston in the LCS,
Good point.
You want to have home field, because I mean the Yankees are.
But
really
I'd rather
good at
play
home.
Minnesota in the first round than Oakland or Tampa.
Minnesota's no bargain either. They can hit.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
the
the
Yankees won. The Yankees won the season series against Minnesota, 4-2. You know,
I don't know. I would favor the Yankees
I-
heavily over the.
I mean,
Twins
I would
in a
listen.
playoff
I would
matchup.
favor the
'Cause
Yankees.
you have Sevy pitching tomorrow, right?
Yeah, Sevy is coming back tomorrow, which should be very.
He hasn't
interesting.
pitched all year.
Nope. First game back.
What about Stanton?
Stanton's supposed to be back tomorrow too, from what I'm understanding. Betances pitched yesterday. He only pitched to 2 batters, struck them both out.
He's a good player.
Hit 95 on the gun. I mean, that's just one more reliever that they're going to have. The Yankees kind of are playing right now in spring training mode. They're trying to figure out who's going to go where and how they're going
Well,
to.
you got to start Domingo Germán in Game 1.
Domingo Germán may not even start. Period. He might be. They might use
Has he
a
been
closer.
that bad?
No, he's been good, but they might use a closer because they're trying to limit his innings.
In the playoffs?
They're looking at Green, Chad Green starting, pitching.
All right, so Game 1, let's just say for the sake of argument,
Game
they're
1
playing the Minnesota Twins in the divisional round. Who's your Game 1 starter?
Paxton.
Over Tanaka and Germán?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Paxton. Paxton's been unbelievable. In the last, he's won 9 in a row. He's won his last 9
Okay.
consecutive starts. And his ERA is like 2.6. So Paxton starts Game 1.
So Game 2, you go Tanaka.
Tanaka Game 2.
And then Game 3, you're playing games with openers and
Game
junk
3.
like that.
Game 3. It depends on Severino. They want Severino to pitch Game 3. If he's ready
Wouldn't you
to.
want – I almost would want Tanaka on the road in Game 3 to start. A veteran guy like that and let Severino pitch at home maybe? Follow up Paxton?
Nah, you want to pitch your bet. Tanaka's a significantly better pitcher at home than he is on the road.
Okay.
You don't want listen. Paxton is actually better on the road than he is at home, which is bizarre because a left-handed pitcher in Yankee Stadium should be better than a right-handed pitcher. But but Paxton is definitely going to start Game 1. I think Tanaka goes Game 2. I think Severino goes Game 3, and I think in Game 4, I think Green starts, and then I think he
Germán
pitches one
comes in,
or
or-
2 innings, and then Germán comes in
That
for
sounds like a
innings
disaster.
3 to 7.
That sounds like a disaster, Brad. That sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
Well, Green has been outstanding.
I
as an
know. I'm
opener.
talking. I get that part. That part's fine. My beef is bringing in Germán in a situation he's not accustomed to in the second or third inning.
He was a reliever already to start the season, and he also was a reliever last year.
But he's been programmed all season to.
He
be a
actually
starter.
came in. He actually came in against Detroit in the 3rd inning, and went to the 8th inning and pitched shutout ball. So I mean,
All right.
I
mean,
know
look,
it's Detroit.
You know the
I know
Yankees
it's
much
Detroit,
better
but-
than me.
I know it's Detroit, but still, I mean, I'm not worried about that. I think they're going to be fine.
Looks
And
like the Browns are up 16-3 at halftime here. Baker Mayfield playing kind of average. Nick Chubb has a touchdown. Odell has 3 for 54. And the Jets just can't seem to figure anything out offensively. But back
Well,
to
they're-
baseball.
yes, as far as right now goes, obviously I'd like to see the Yankees have the best record. I want to see them get the home field advantage.
Who's the third best team in the American League?
I think it's Oakland right now.
I agree.
I mean, I think Oakland's better than Minnesota,
I agree.
and Minnesota is the 4th best team. Minnesota absolutely killed Cleveland the last two series they played against them. I think they won 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 7, something like that. They've owned them. So Minnesota is going to win that division, but I think Minnesota's kind of fraudy. I mean, take a look at who they get to play all the time. They play three of the worst. They play 3 of the worst teams in baseball.
And if they go into, they hit a lot of home runs, but if they run into a good pitcher like they would on the Yankees or the Astros or even the A's, the Rays have good pitching too. So
yeah, well, all the teams and the Twins have by far.
They run into a good pitcher.
The Twins have by far the worst pitching staff out of all of them. I mean, other than Odorizzi and Berrios, who are okay. I mean, they're good. They're not great.
Yeah.
I mean, do they really scare you?
No.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Odorizzi, the Yankees have always killed.
Even
Odorizzi.
their ace Berrios, he wouldn't. We're facing.
Do you trust Berrios? You trust Berrios in Yankee Stadium?
No, not at all. I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, Berrios, I kind of laugh if I see him pitching in Yankees. Listen, he's good. He's good against the Yankees in Minnesota, but we've seen him in Yankee Stadium. He gets his ass kicked every time he goes out there. That's why a couple of years ago they didn't start Berrios in that playoff game. They started who did they start? They started that old guy that used to pitch for the Angels. I just can't remember his name. You know what I'm talking about?
Old guy who used to pitch for the Angels.
Yeah, the guy that used to the guy that used to pitch for the Angels for a million years.
In the wild card game?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but
I don't.
Yeah, in any event, Minnesota doesn't have the pitching to stop the Yankees or the Astros for that matter. Oakland is the one team that could give anybody they play a real hard time. They've got a pretty good. They got pretty good starting pitching. The relief pitching is but they can really hit. So they're a dangerous team. And you know they've really beat up the Twins. They beat up the Yankees. They beat up the Astros. Won't be fun to play them.
And then the National, I really have my eye on the Nationals here in the National League. I know the Dodgers are all that, and the Braves are really good too. But you get Soto, Robles, Rendon, Trey Turner.
The only problem with the Nationals is just
their bullpen stinks.
Their bullpen is really bad.
I mean, you have Corbin, you have Scherzer, and you have Strasburg.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That's a real good threesome.
Scherzer's such a bulldog. You know he's pitching 9 innings every time he's out there.
No, I know that. He's a bulldog. But, I mean, you know, you look at the matchup when they played the Braves this past week, and the Braves pretty much have beaten them up.
I think the Nationals are going to win the wild card game with Scherzer on the mound, whether they play the Brewers, the Cardinals, or the Cubbies.
Yeah, and if Scherzer's ineffective, they bring in Strasburg or they bring in Corbin. I mean,
so
they can play Johnny Holstaff against them, and I just can't see them. I can't see them losing a game against one of those teams.
So the Braves would play the Central champion, and then the wild card winner.
The Braves would play the Cardinals.
It could be.
Love the Braves in that matchup.
And then the Dodgers could play the Nationals and be out. That'd be such a Dodger thing to do.
I'd love every second of it, to be honest. I can't stand.
You don't like
the
Dodgers?
I can't stand.
Why?
It just
because they're in Brooklyn.
Because they're the Dodgers, and they and you know they're all old Met. All the Met fans used to be Dodger fans. You do understand that, right?
Yeah.
The whole generation of Dodger and Giant fans became Met fans. So that's why I can't stand Dodger fans. Ugh, they just annoy me. Plus, the Yankees beat the crap out of them when they played them, and the only game they lost was because the umpires screwed them. They should have swept that series.
They really should have swept them. You're right about that.
They should have, and they pummeled them pretty much. You know, even the great Clayton Kershaw got beat up, so wouldn't be worried about them.
He's not the same though.
No, that's true. Still got beat up though.
Yeah.
You know.
And college, we got a big college matchup this Saturday. Notre Dame's going to play Georgia.
Georgia's going to smack
Georgia's probably going to smoke them. Notre Dame usually chokes in these big spots.
Georgia's going to smoke them.
Clemson's all that.
Clemson was very impressive against Syracuse. Syracuse is not what everybody.
Cuse had their chances though.
Yeah.
Clemson's by far the best team, in my opinion.
I agree.
All due respect to Alabama right now.
No, they're better.
I think Alabama's going to drop a game, maybe 2.
I would
Here.
agree with you. I would agree with you.
I
Right,
get
right
it,
now,
but-
Clemson is just—they're so good,
and the ACC stinks.
their
It's
defense.
so bad.
Their defense is really good too.
They have ENT, that running back.
Yep.
He's a monster.
And the quarterback is going to be
Sunshine.
Yeah,
Sunshine Trevor Lawrence.
Lawrence is going to be the first pick in the draft in 2 years.
That's what the
not
Dolphins are trying to do.
Well, no, Tua is going to be the first pick this year.
Yeah, but I don't
The
think
following
I would
season.
want. I would want Trevor in 2 years instead of Tua next year.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But I mean,
You-
Bama's
you
gonna.
could do that.
Bama plays LSU at home, then has to go to Mississippi State. I think they're gonna drop one of those games. I think
LSU is awfully good.
LSU's really good. They
Yeah.
They just lost a big corner, big secondary piece for the season. He got hurt in their
That's a shame, but you know what? They're
Whatever.
really a good team.
McNeese State bullshit game that they schedule when they don't have to
They-
play an SEC team.
They all.
I can't
they
even
all
hate
do
on them
that.
because they went into Texas and won, and
Yeah.
Texas is a good team.
No, LSU is
They're
good.
the second best team right now.
Who?
LSU.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't know if they're the second best team. They should be ranked number 2 because of their win at Texas.
Yeah, well, Alabama's not going to play anybody. They
So
never
what-
do.
What are the line? What's the line on that Georgia Notre Dame game?
I would think it would be like at least 4.5, 5.
It's down in Georgia.
Oh, then 7.5.
I think it's down in Georgia. We gotta go to week 5. It's weird how this app.
I think it's going to be
Does
7
everything.
to 8 points in that game, and that's. Now, I have no idea. I'm just guessing. I'm handicapping the game myself. I have no idea what Vegas has.
It's got to be a prime timer. Auburn, Texas A&M this weekend too. That's a biggie in the SEC.
I think Texas A&M is going to win that game.
They're favored by 4 at home, so Vegas agrees with you.
Yeah, I've actually been watching college football this year, so
How'd Rutgers do last week?
they didn't lose.
They won.
I just said they didn't lose.
Who'd they beat?
They had a bye.
Oh, okay. Like what you did there.
Yeah.
Georgia's favored by 14 at home.
By
over Notre Dame.
14. Oh.
I mean, Notre Dame's a top 10 team, so I mean,
Yeah, but there's a bit of a drop
they
off.
They lost a lot of guys in the draft off of defense. From
There's
their team a year ago.
There's a rather large drop off from when you get past the first 6 teams. You kind of are falling off a cliff, though. Let's be honest, okay?
Yeah. Well, you have the SEC. That's
You've
all
got-
going to
listen,
work itself out.
You've got right now. You've got I mean, not in any particular order. You got Clemson, Alabama, LSU, Georgia,
Auburn,
Auburn,
Oklahoma,
Oklahoma, and Ohio State,
Ohio State.
and that's it.
How many
after
teams
that-
was that?
That was 7.
What's that? Yeah, but I mean,
We'll see though. I think they're pretty good.
the
this
Big
year.
Ten's kind of good, and that Fields guy, I didn't believe in him preseason, but he looks like he can play. Yeah, he was the number 1. He went to Georgia, and he got beaten out by. No, Georgia. Who's starting for Georgia? Yeah, who wasn't as highly. It's not
Jake Fromm.
Fromm. Thank you.
Yeah, but I mean, listen.
Bet on.
After
I bet on him to win the Heisman. I should
you know
know
what?
his name.
I'm gonna throw Auburn out of that because I think they're gonna lose to Texas A&M. So really, there are 6 teams after number 6. It really drops off a lot.
Yeah, like Michigan. Texas is a good team. They lost to LSU, but they're a good team.
Yeah, Michigan
Almost lost to Army.
Michigan almost lost to
and
Army.
Jim Harbaugh
Come
stinks.
Come on. I mean, listen. I give Army credit where it's due. I mean,
But-
Army's a pretty good team. For Army, they're a good team.
So that gave the Big Ten a big hit. That almost win by Army,
Right.
and the Big Ten took a huge hit with Michigan State losing outright at home to Arizona State, who's just not a very good
Michigan
team.
State
They
always-
lost 10-7.
Michigan State stinks. They
Weren't playing like a stinky team going into the game, but clearly they are.
They're stinky. They're just not good.
And Iowa's still good. Nebraska, I don't. Ohio State's gonna roll the Big Ten, because and they don't play anyone out of conference, so maybe Iowa sticks them in the championship
Iowa's
game.
pretty good.
Good win
Iowa-
against Iowa State.
Yeah,
team I think's really good.
Iowa's is a good football team now.
Iowa State, they're gonna steal a game against one of these Big 12 teams.
I'll tell you a team I wasn't really impressed with this weekend was Penn State.
No, because they struggled against
Pitt.
Yes,
I
that's
understand.
right.
I understand that it's a rivalry. I get that, but come on, you got it. What did they win? 17-10.
Yeah, and they sleepwalk against Buffalo too.
Yeah, they had their problems against Buffalo. I mean, come on, you got to be better than that. I don't like Franklin at all.
Great recruiter, can't coach.
Yeah, no, that's
what
I'm saying. He's got some players, but he's really not a good coach. His play calling is just it's so predictable. I mean, you can see when that's the problem with their offense. When they go out there, you can almost tell what kind of a play they're going to run just by their formation. You know, and
not a good play caller.
Yeah, I mean,
the year they were good and lost to USC in the Rose Bowl, Joe Moorhead was calling the plays, and he got nabbed up by Mississippi State.
Yeah, well,
he coaches them now.
Mississippi State's a top program. Penn State still has a ways to go before they get to that point.
That's really the only game, Notre Dame, Georgia this weekend. Yeah. I don't really expect that to be close, to be honest. I like Notre Dame. If I had to identify with a college team, it would probably be Notre Dame.
I think Notre Dame's going to get spanked.
Georgia's
really do. Georgia's really good.
You look at the offensive lines in the SEC; it's just
they're going to overpower them.
Different.
I think Notre Dame will score some points against them, but I mean, can you see 41-21?
I'd be surprised if Notre Dame scored that many points.
I think they can get that many points. I mean, Notre Dame can score, but I don't know. Still waiting to see what. Still looking at. I'm kind of laughing at UCLA. Boy, they really stink. boy, oh boy,
the old chipper.
That is a bad football
he's building
team.
He's building the whole college program on fullbacks and tight ends.
And USC.
Good luck. Good luck, Chip.
USC. I think they're pretty good.
They just lost to BYU.
BYU is a good offensive team.
All right.
USC stinks on the road. We know that.
That'll do it for this edition of the Sports Hounds. Hope the Eagles can right the ship next Sunday against the Lions, and we can have a positive top of the show. Until then, from the Sports Hounds from A2D Radio, we'll see you then.